We will have one representative to represent everybody to do the offering to Sayadaw at the end of the talk. So these are the 4 people. Those who want to do offering, you can pass your offering to them. May I have your attention? There are many people who are waiting outside, so will you please move forward so that more people can come in to the shrine hall? Please move forward.
Excuse me.
Hello, hello. Can you please move forward so that those people behind can come in? Move forward. The offering, put on the table. Put on the table. Put on the table.
Dear devotees, please move closer to the person in front of you so we can get the people outside to come in and join the talk. If you can, please sit closer. You can carry your bags on your lap. And may I request all of you to silence your phone. Please put your phone on silence. We will start the talk at 8 p.m. sharp. Can I have 10 guys to come to the front of the hall? 10 guys. If you're okay to sit on the floor, we allow you to sit in the front. Only guys are allowed. We are calling for 10 guys to come to the front. Those who are standing outside the shrine hall, you may get a chair from Mangala Hall to sit down here. We request all devotees to silence your handphone. Please put your handphone on silent mode.
Hello. Please keep silence. Hello, hello. Please keep silence. I need to make an announcement. For those who want to ask questions, you can scan this QR code and send in your questions. There's also QR code on the doors. But just let you know, not all questions will be answered, all right? So only certain, also due to time restraint, certain relevant questions we will answer. So scan this QR code or those on the door. There's some more announcement. Huh?
Okay, then
you show the
someone to bring Bante. I will show the slide.
show the side. Who is going?
To stand? Better to stand, right, Bante?
So we're going to bring him now, okay? Okay. May everybody please stand and put your palms together. Please stand and put your palms together. We're going to chant Sangha Vandana. Chant now. Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ujopatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyayapatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samicipatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yaditam Chano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yaditam Chattari Purisa Yogani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa bhagavato sāvaka sangho ahuneyo pahuneyo dakineyo anjali karaneyo anuttaram punya ketang lokasati Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ujopatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Amicipatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Tam Chattari Purisa Yogani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaneyo Anuttaram Punya Ketang Lokasati. Please be seated.
Mất thay này lên biến thay nào bộ. Dạ vậy. Không. Đâu đi. Hay là số điều bích thả rồi à? Nó bích lại bộ. Cái xăm xỉu Dhamma bích lại. Ok, save lâu rồi bích lại rồi. Lúc khai này là một tí bảo rồi. Shit luôn mà. Túi ảo mà. Cái chỗ notes để shit out.
Okay, while the Sayadaw is doing the slides, let me introduce Sayadaw to everybody. I know the Burmese know him very well, but some Singaporean might not. Sayadaw U Jotika was born into a non-Buddhist family in Mormon, Myanmar in 1947. Sayadaw received his basic education at a Roman Catholic missionary school. Sayadaw graduated as an electrical engineer in 1973 from Rangoon Institute of Technology. He is very interested in Buddhist meditation. He discovered that life was unsatisfactory and majority of the people devoted their precious time mainly in gathering wealth, enjoying sensual pleasures, fame, power, and position. Thus, he decided to leave behind his family and became a seminara at the age of 26. He was ordained as a bhikkhu, fully ordained monk, in 1974 at Tuang Pulu Forest Monastery with Venerable Tuang Pulu Sayadaw as his preceptor. He practiced meditations under the guidance of the late Venerable Tuang Pulu Sayadaw for 3 years. He continued to practice meditation with Tan Tabin Forest Monastery Sayadaw for 15 years. Venerable had visited Singapore several times on Dhamma Dutta missions. He was in the United States in 1983 to 84 for about 16 months, about 16 months conducting Dhamma talks. He also visited several countries, including Australia, Vietnam, Thailand, England, Canada, Japan, and Korea. He has established a forest monastery near Pago. His Dhamma talks and books are in great demand in Myanmar and overseas. He has established about 26 Dhamma books, and the popular English books are A Map of the Journey, Snow in the Summer, and Life is a School and Two Realities. So tonight, we are very blessed to have invited Sayadaw to give us a talk. Tonight's topic is life and rebirth. May we say Sadhu, Sadhu 3 times?
I thank Mangala Vihara committee for making this happen. And I also thank Venerable Siddhananda, Venerable Chakrapala, Venerable Sunita for supporting me in many different ways. Because of them, this talk happens. Venerable Sunita requested to give a Dhamma talk on this day, so I accepted his request. But Venerable Chakrapala requested me to give a Dhamma talk last year when I was here. But at that time, my health was not very good. So this year, I accepted to give a Dhamma talk, and the title of the Dhamma talk, Life and Rebirth, is actually suggested by Venerable Chakrapala. So he has been very helpful to me. So I thank him very much. Just now, the master of ceremony, how shall I call her? Mistress of ceremony. So, introduce you about me. But in my talk, I will talk about my real experiences, not just things I've read in the books. So, in the stories that I plan to talk about, I must talk about myself too. So, briefly, I was born in Mormain. Now they changed the name. It is now called Molamiai. It's on the bank of the Selwyn River, south of Myanmar. And It is a very beautiful city. On the eastern side, there's a long range of hill on which I've walked innumerable times. And near the foothill of that hill was St. Patrick High School. But now they have changed that to number 5, States High School. And in the west of the city, because it is on the bank of the Salween River, is the mouth of Salween River. It is very wide, about 3 miles wide. So very beautiful scenery. I used to sit near the bank and watch the sunset, and sometimes I walk up the hill and sat on the hill and watch sunsets. So I love watching sunrise, sunsets, beauty of nature. And my first meditation practice, but at that time I did not think of that as meditation practice. Usually I go and find a nice and quiet place to sit and just sit there and watch the scenery, looking at the clouds, looking at the birds going back home to sleep, and listening to their bird songs. And on the hill, there are many pagodas, and you know that on the pagoda they have many bells. And when the wind blows, the bell makes very soothing, beautiful clink, like that sound. I like that very much too. So I sat there very quietly, alone mostly, and watched the sunset and listened to the bells and birds. I felt very peaceful at that time. And from my point of view, that was my own way of meditation. I did not do it as a religious practice, because at that time, when we have to fill the forms in school, name, father's name, religion, date of birth, and all that, on the place where I have to put my religion, I feel no religion yet. Honestly, I have to do that. I don't want to put just any religion there. So I said openly and honestly, no religion yet. For many people misunderstood me because they thought that I was a communist. So I had a very bad name in those days. To be a communist is terrible. But anyway, my nature is very curious. I'm interested in so many different things, asking many questions until my parents got tired and my teachers got tired, and they told me, shut up. But I cannot do that. It's my nature to ask questions and find the answer. So I thought, they are not going to give me answers anymore. Never mind, I will ask my own question and find my own answer. So actually, they told me to shut up was good for me. So I started reading many books, many kinds of philosophy, psychology, comparative religion, and started thinking about what is the truth, what is life about, what is life. So many questions. And while I was reading books and magazines, I came across one article about reincarnation. So I got very interested. Reincarnation. Somebody who was a human being is now born again as a human being. So there was a past life, there is present life, there will be a future life. That's amazing, unbelievable, because when I was young, I thought that this is the first time I'm born and alive, and when I die, that's it, finish, no more problems. But as I started trying to find out more about this idea that they call reincarnation, but in Theravada Buddhism, we use the word rebirth. So I tried to find out what's the difference. What's reincarnation and rebirth? What's the difference? So, and here are a few notes I wrote down. Reincarnation literally means to be made flesh again. To be made flesh again, that's it, literally. So we died and we became spirits, no physical body like we have, and then we are reborn as a human being with this physical body. So to live in this physical body again, to get a new physical body. So that is what they call reincarnation. This is a doctrine, mystical belief that some essential part of a living being survives death to be reborn in a new body. So they use the word reincarnation because they believe that there is such thing as soul, which is eternal, which does not change. And this eternal soul gets a new body. But in Theravada Buddhism, nothing is eternal, everything is impermanent. So, according to Theravada Buddhism, there is rebirth of character, but no transmigration of a self. So that's the difference between reincarnation and rebirth. No transmigration of a self. Just consciousness successively going on and on. When we die, the body dies. But the consciousness is the word I like very much. Here is one Pali verse, half of a verse actually. And this verse said, Necham Nawawa Sankhara Dipa Jala Samupama. Conditions, things are always new, like the flame of a lamp. So when we look at a candle, so to speak, the flame is burning continuously, but it looks the same. It is constantly using the fuel and oxygen to create the flame. So this flame is always changing, but it looks the same. It's like a river. If you go and look at the river, this river is flowing all the time continuously, but no matter how many years it's been here, we call it by the same name and we think it is the same river. But it is not the same river, it is always new. So when I heard about reincarnation and read about reincarnation, I got interested and asked other people to tell me more about reincarnation. But my parents couldn't tell me, and my teachers did not like me asking about reincarnation or talking about reincarnation. So I have to go and find books and articles, and I found a book published by Psychical Research Society in London. It was established in 1802, long time ago. So in that book, I found a few articles about reincarnation and many other psychic phenomena too. Very, very interesting. So I try to find as many books as I can. Can you see? There it is. So, 20 cases suggestive of reincarnation. I have this book. If you want a copy, I can give it to you. It's available on the internet, free. You can download it free. And this is a very important book written by Dr. Ian Stevenson. He was a professor in the medical department in University of Virginia, and he was also a psychiatric, but later he got interested in reincarnation cases and quit his position as a professor and started doing his own research on reincarnation. And he did that until he totally retired. Altogether, I think it was more than 43 years. So this book he wrote, I have read this book, and 20 cases, really interesting cases about reincarnation. And this Dr. Ian Stevenson, yes, I must tell you that too, he came to Myanmar and he met Sayadaw U Silananda. Anybody met Sayadaw U Silananda in person? You met any other? He came to this temple and gave a course on Abhidhamma. So Dr. Ian Stevenson and Sayadaw U Silananda were really very good friends. And Sayadaw U Silananda himself remembered his past life. I studied with him in his college, so to speak, in Mandalay. I live in the same building. I stayed on the upper floor. He lived in ground floor. So we ate together. I studied Pali. He taught me Pali. But I was, in a way, a special student. I cannot go to the regular classes. Sayadaw U Silananda said, well, you have studied English and engineering. You don't need to start from the beginning. He gave me many books about Pali grammar and literature. And when I cannot understand something, I went and asked him questions. Otherwise, I can study on my own. He was just guiding me to study. And Sayadaw U Silananda's elder brother and sister told me about their brother's past life, because he was reborn in the family again, twice. Very interesting case. So I will show you a book later. Therefore, for that reason, Ian Stevenson tried to meet with Sayadaw U Silananda, and they discussed about rebirth, reincarnation. And in Myanmar, most people believe in rebirth. If you go and talk about reincarnation in any village, they will say, oh, in our village, so-and-so, he was a human being in this village, he remembers, and how he died. They will tell you the story in detail. So this is one book. And this is another book by Dr. Ian Stevenson, Children Who Remember Previous Lives. I have that book too. Children, when they are about 4, generally, they start talking about their past life, if they remember. And as they grow older and older, they start losing interest in their past life because present life becomes more interesting and important, which is natural. And some people, they remember their past life until they are in their 20s or 30s. Some very rare people, they remember their past life until they are quite old. They don't forget it. So this is another book. I'm showing you these books because there are people these days doing research on reincarnation or rebirth really seriously. Why is that? Because Dr. Ian Stevenson himself believed that if more people learn the truth about reincarnation or rebirth, they will have a very different understanding of the world, human beings, and themselves. So I will give you detail later. This doctor, Dr. Jim B. Tucker, he is still alive. He is assistant of Dr. Ian Stevenson. When Dr. Jim Tucker was young, he was a doctor and a psychotherapist. Very successful practice at that time. Later, he got interested in reincarnation and went to meet Dr. Ian Stevenson to ask about reincarnation. And they met and discussed about reincarnation many times together. Later, Dr. Jim Tucker quit his psychotherapy practice and did research on reincarnation because he felt that this is more important for human beings. This is the truth. If you really understand and believe that you have been a human being before and you are going to be born again and again innumerable times, then the way you look at other people will change totally. The way you look at yourself will change totally. And this happens. This happens to me too. Another book, Ian Stevenson. This is more interesting, where reincarnation and biology intersect. He studied about people born with birth marks, like any kind of wound, gunshot or knife or any other way. Some children are born with birthmarks in the head or in the chest or in the back, any place. And he traced these stories and found that this is a better way to prove that people are reborn. So this book is very interesting. This is another book. This man, F.W.H. Myers, he was one of the founders of Psychical Research Society in London. And this book is F.W.H. Myers and the Victorian Search for Life After Death. So the same theme, reincarnation, life after death. Life goes on and on. And Reincarnation, A Hope of the World by Dr. Irving S. Cooper. And this book was published by the Theosophical Publishing House. So a hope of the world. Why? If you understand that you have been a human being before, you are a human being now, and you will be reborn again and again as a human being, or maybe as a spirit or deva. So, if you deeply understand this, when you look at other people, you will not think that this man is a stranger and it doesn't matter what happens to him. It's not my problem. But if you believe in reincarnation, you look at somebody, you will think that he may have been my brother or my father or grandfather, maybe my son. So you will meet again in many different ways. He may become your father or grandfather or brother or even neighbor. You'll meet him again and again. So you feel, in a way, some connection with that person. If all the people believe that we have met before, we meet now, and we meet again, they will feel more close, they will feel more loving and compassionate, and if you need help, they will help you according to their capacity. So, speaking of that, I meet all of you here today. Well, we will meet again. Maybe in this life again, yes, if I live long enough, if you live long enough, and maybe next life and next life. I have heard some stories in Singapore of reincarnation. Very interesting story. So this is a hope of the world. People are becoming more and more materialistic. They care for money and pleasure, possessions, power, status. They compare themselves with other people and look down on those who are not so fortunate. So, understanding life and rebirth or reincarnation, no matter how you call it, will change your outlook totally. Here is another one, The Case for Rebirth by Francis Story and the Anagarika Sugatananda. Buddhist Publication Society, Kandy, Sri Lanka, published it. So Francis Story, let me see if I can find about him. Here. Francis Story was born in 1910 and he died in 1972, was a British-born Buddhist scholar, writer, and lay renunciant. Lay renunciant means he was a layman, but he lived like a monk. Known as Anagarika Sugatananda, he dedicated over 25 years of his life to studying and spreading Theravada Buddhism in Asia, making profound contributions to Buddhist philosophy and extensive research on the doctrine of rebirth. Francis Story was born in Croydon, England in August 1910. He discovered Buddhism at the age of 16 while reading about comparative religions. Captivated by the doctrine of karma and rebirth, he began calling himself a Buddhist long before his formal ordination. So there is something similar. My story in some case is similar to Francis' story, because he started finding out this reincarnation when he was 16. That was about the age that I started finding out reincarnation, while I was reading many books. And well, I'll wait finish this. Reincarnation, the study of the human soul in its relation to rebirth, evolution, post-mortem states, the compound nature of man, hypnotism, etc. The compound nature of man, that is interesting. Can you guess what that means? Compound nature, not one, but we are two. We are a compound nature. It means that we are spirits living in a human body. When we die, the body dies and the spirit is still spirit, the same. The consciousness goes on and on. So the word spirit has many meanings. So later I will explain that too. So this is written by Jerome A. Anderson. I don't know what it means, MDFTS. Too long for me to understand. Here is another book, very interesting, Return from Heaven. Beloved relatives reincarnated within your family. So a child died and reborn in the same family, the same mother again. And he remembered his past life too. So he became his own brother, younger brother. How strange life can be. So I've read this book also. I have so many books. I'm showing only a few of them. Yeah, Before. The title of the book is Before, by Dr. Ian Stevenson and Dr. Jim Tucker. And Return to Life, Extraordinary Cases of Children Who Remember Past Lives. Yeah. Reincarnation, a Study of Forgotten Truth, by A.D. Walker. Reincarnation and the Law of Karma, by William Walker Atkinson. A study of the old New World doctrine, means old world and new world. Doctrine of rebirth and spiritual cause and effect. Very interesting book. So I'm showing you all these books because I think that some of you are deeply interested in rebirth, reincarnation, and you want to find out more about it. And if you want to read more books, these are the books you must start with. There are many more. And if you want a copy of some of the books I have, I can give you a copy. And if you want to discuss about reincarnation and rebirth and Dhamma, I think we can plan for that. A small group discussing about rebirth. Because I take this very seriously. I've been studying reincarnation since I was 15 maybe, I don't remember exactly, until today. I never stop it. Trying to find out more and more, trying to find the real persons who remember past lives, the real young children. So lately, I found one boy, and he remembered his life, and the way he talked sounds like a mature person, not like a baby. The tone of voice and the behavior, the gestures, all of them are like a grown-up person. And another boy also, he's now a very, very young novice monk. He's just about 3 or 4 years old. And he wanted to go to the monastery. So his parents sent him to the monastery just for a visit. But he went there and immediately he became very intimate to all the monks there and called them by name. And they asked him who he was. He said, I was the abbot of this monastery. So they asked him many questions and showed him many things that the past abbot has used, and he can pick out the things that he used before, like his old eyeglasses and his old fountain pen. Really, fountain pen, you put ink and write, not ballpoint pen. And so they put robes on him just to make him happy because he was the abbot. And his parents also thought that, well, very soon he will go back home. But after some time, when his parents came and asked the young novice, when are you going back home? He said, no, I'm not going back home. I'm staying in the monastery. Really cute, very lovely. Old Sayadaw becoming a young monk again. So amazing, so amazing. Life is so strange and so wonderful and interesting. There's no end. No matter how long you study, you'll find out something new again and again. So this is Science of Reincarnation, exploring beliefs, cases, and theory. This book is about how to watch children to see whether they are a reborn human being or not. So studying without asking him anything. So spontaneously, young children who were human beings before behave like a mature person. They use the word precocious. Do you understand what it means, precocious? Their mentality and skills are much higher than the age. They learn something very quickly. Sometimes nobody need to teach them to do that. They learn by themselves. So that is also very interesting. Science of Reincarnation, the same book. Long trajectory, reincarnation and life. After that, Dr. Eric Weiss, it was published in 2009. Reincarnation this is by a French doctor, Gustave Kelly. He studied a lot about spiritual communication. You know what that means, spiritual communication? You can contact to somebody who is dead, but you can contact his spirit. I am deeply interested in that, and also studying the old souls. That's also about reincarnation or rebirth, and they use the word old soul. That means he was a human being before. He's not young. Contact with the other world. The latest evidence as to communication with the dead. Yeah, this is what I was talking just now. Dr. James H. Hislop. I've read many of his books, so this is one of them. Rebirth in Early Buddhism and Current Research. This is by a monk, Bhikkhu Analayo. He is a professor. Rebirth as Doctrine and Experience. Essays and case studies by Francis Story. Again. Introduction by Ian Stevenson. When Dr. Ian Stevenson came to Asia to study children who remember their past life, Francis Story helped him a lot, because Francis Story has been studying people who remember their past life a long time before Dr. Ian Stevenson studied it. So Francis Story helped Dr. Ian Stevenson. So that's the end of the slides and the books. So now I'm going to tell you two stories. These persons, I know them intimately. Let's see. I must explain a few words before I tell the story. Here, you know, Greek philosophers, quite a lot of Greek philosophers thought about reincarnation. Plato, the most famous, one of the most famous philosophers, he said many things about reincarnation in his books, Phaedo, Phaedrus, Meno, The Republic. The Republic, that book is very famous. It's about how to develop a country. And Apollonius, yes, I read his book too. Here, in between state. Have you heard this phrase, in between state? Human being, but in between there's a gap. So in the Pali text, there are a few words. This word is Sambhavesi. Sambhavesi is generally interpreted in Buddhist commentaries as one seeking rebirth. One means a person, somebody seeking rebirth. Or one searches for a place to take birth. Searching for a place means searching for a mother. It is often used in contrast to Buddha, which refers to those who are already born. So those who are already born, those who are seeking to be born again. In Pali text, particularly the Sutta Pitaka, mention a Gandhabba. Anybody heard about this Gandhabba, this word? Anybody knows about? Do you know? Gandhabba. Yes. Well, I will explain. Gandhabba, which is sometimes interpreted as an intermediate existence or the being to be born. So this is the meaning, the being to be born. But to be born as a human being. Because when we use the word born, it means born by a mother. So without a mother, how can we say that somebody is born? We cannot. So, ready to descend into the mother's womb in present. Buddha said here, monks, the mother and father come together. The mother is in season, and the being Gandharva, ready to descend into the mother's womb, is present. So this Gandharva, a spirit, so to speak, because I cannot find any better word for it. So a spirit is ready to take a new life. So looking for a suitable mother. It is through the coming together of these three conditions that conception can occur. The Gandharva is the being whose consciousness is ready to take birth. So the same meaning from many different books, I extracted these definitions. A being ready to take a new existence, or the mental body assumed during the intermediate state, seeking rebirth in the sensuous sphere. Being fit and ready to be born to the parents concerned. So many different ways of saying the same thing. So that means, this Gandharva, this spirit, it could be Deva, lower level Deva. So this spirit or this Deva is looking for a suitable mother and waiting until the mother's body is ready for conception. So what does that mean? Think about that. Waiting, looking for a mother and waiting for the right time. It means that you have a choice. Isn't that amazing? So from that point of view, you choose your life. Go to bed. Your karma also is involved. And here another definition, Gandharva. These are sometimes considered a lower form of deity. Deity means a spirit also. A deity is a supernatural being, such as a god or goddess. So you may have been a god or goddess, a deva before you become a human being. Who knows? Who knows? Think of that. Samsara is really amazing. It is really mysterious. It is not easy to understand. But although it is not easy to understand, try your best to understand, because the more you understand how karma works, how consciousness works, how life works, the more you can direct your own self to get to a better position, to get a good life, and to practice Dhamma too. And that is what I'm doing now. I've been preparing for this for many, many years already. And learn and train myself how I will die. So before I fall asleep in my bed, I think to myself, I may die when I'm asleep. So how do I want to die? With what kind of mental state? So I told myself I want to die very peacefully and calm and quiet. I don't want to think of anything. I just want to think of calmness and peacefulness and emptiness. And with that state, it means that I want to die meditating. When you meditate, your mind becomes very calm and quiet and peaceful. It's wholesome, And this calm and quiet and peaceful mental state has a lot of energy and power. With that kind of energy and power, you can direct your mind where you want to go. It will go. And I think some of you know Mahasi Sayadaw. A lot of people from Myanmar knows him. I met him when I was young. And Mahasi Sayadaw said in his book, Basic Vipassana Meditation Practice. I translate that from Burmese language. He said that it is not difficult, it is not extraordinary to choose the life you want to go to. What do you say? Do you think it is easy or hard? Do you think it is extraordinary or ordinary? Mahasi Sayadaw said, it's an ordinary phenomena and it's not hard. Why did he say that? He said that for meditators, if you train your mind really well, if you can make your mind calm and quiet and peaceful, you can choose your life. So most people think that you die and you are reborn, you have no choice where you will be reborn. But you have never tried to make choice. You never even think about it seriously. So this is the word very important. Now I'm going to tell you those people that I met who remember their past life. When I was in St. Patrick High School, I was reading some articles and stories about people who remember their past life, and I talked with my friend that this is really interesting story, really wonderful, unbelievable. People remember their past life again, their relatives, and even their old place, old town or home, the boy or the girl, always telling, I want to go home, I want to go home. And the parents says, this is your home. And this child said, yes, this is my home, but I have another home there. Sometimes he said, oh, I miss my children, I miss my children. You are a boy, you are not married, and how can you have children? He said, oh, in my past life I was married, and I have children, I miss them. So there were many stories like that in Myanmar, because Burmese culture, Buddhist culture, support this belief. This believing, in a way, allows the child to remember his past life and express that. If the parents don't believe this and discourage the child to talk about it, the child shut up and even forget it. So the support from the culture and parent is very important. So in the class, I had 2 twin brothers. Meow and Teow. I have to think very carefully to remember the names. So because they were twins, their names are very similar also. So Meow and Teow. And one friend said, look, those 2 twins, they remember their past life. I said, oh, really? We have been in the class together for so long and nobody told me. So then I talked with those friends, Meow and Teow, about reincarnation or rebirth, whatever you want to call it. And they said, yeah, I remember my past life. Will you please tell me whatever you remember about your past life? And the first question I asked them was, how did you die? So they said that they were riding a bicycle, two friends riding one bicycle and going downhill, because when you go downhill riding a bicycle, it goes down very fast and people enjoy that fast movement. But when they turned the bend, the corner, a car came and hit them. And one died instantly, another died 3 days later in the hospital. So I asked them more questions. What happened when you died? And the one who died instantly said, I knew that the car was going to hit me, but at that time I was not in my body anymore. The shock of the car hitting somehow ejected the spirit out of the body. So he said, I felt nothing. But the one who died in the hospital said he did not die instantly, and he felt the pain of broken bones. And then what happened, I asked him. The one who died instantly said that I followed my friend to the hospital. See, they loved each other so much as if they were really brothers. He followed his friend to the hospital and stayed with the friend in the hospital, near the bed. Always there to, I don't know how to say that, to be there ready for him. And 3 days later, the friend died, and both of them together went away, left the hospital. The body was left there. And the body was buried in a cemetery. I visited that cemetery a few times. Very big trees, very shady trees, because the trees get very good fertilizer. So very big, old trees. Most people did not even want to go in, even in the daytime. I went there daytime, and once I went there in the night. No electricity, no light at all, totally dark. I went with a friend, but when we were going to enter the cemetery, my friend said, no, I'm not going in. So I told him, if you are not going in, you go back home, I'm going in. So I went into the cemetery and spent a long time there until the moon came up and it was bright again. So I was very curious and always studying about reincarnation and about spirit life. I wanted to meet with the spirit and make friends with the spirit, have some conversation about how it's like to be a spirit. And I asked them, when did you die? The date and the year and the month. And they told me the month and the date and the year they died. It was during the Second World War. Not finished yet. The Germans and all the European countries and Japanese, they were still fighting. And then when were you born again? And they gave them a date. I was born in 1947. They were born even later than me, 1949, 2 years later. So I was 2 years older than my friends. Because when I was young, I was very sickly and cannot go to school. When I go to school, I feel so tired and dizzy, and sometimes I fainted. So the teachers told me, go back home, go back home. And I did not study and sit for exam for 2 years until I become strong enough to go back to school. That's why in the class, mostly I was the oldest student. Very special. Because I was a brother to all them, big brother. I like being a big brother. I can help them, I can guide them. So I enjoy that role very much. Even now, when my school friends come to me, they treat me like their old brother. Now I am the old Sayadaw. So that's my karma. So, well, let's see. Then they died during the Second World War, but they were reborn 4 years after the Second World War, I think. So I said, well, there's a big gap here. Where were you in that time? They said, well, we live in a very beautiful park. I said, well, you were buried in that cemetery. Did you live in the cemetery? He said, oh no, we did not live in the cemetery. Only our body became fertilizer in that cemetery. We live in a beautiful park. And I asked them many more questions. Did you have any other friends there? They said, oh, we have big community. And I asked them, how did you feel? They said, oh, we feel like a human being and we think like a human being and we love human beings. We live like a human being. We are a kind of human being with a different kind of body. This is really amazing. It makes me think so much. I asked so many questions after hearing this story. They feel and think like a human being, and they love human beings. Sometimes they said that when we can, we help human beings. And I asked them again, why did you become a human being again? Because they said, we died very young, and when we were young, we wanted to do so many things, but we didn't get a chance to do it because we died so young. So we want to fulfill our wish, go back to human life, and we will do what we wanted to do before in the past life. And then I asked, how did you become the child of your mother? He said, I went to that mother-to-be when she was asleep and asked for permission. So their house and my house, not very far away. I can walk in 10 minutes to get there. They live in a big house, the British-style house, 2 stories with an attic. So when I used to visit their house and I climbed up to the attic too, they had many books because their father and their grandfather were very well educated, and their grandfather was educated in England, and when he came back to Myanmar, he brought many books. And those books they kept in the attic room. It was very spacious. And I met with their mother too, because in those days we visit each other's house and we live like brothers. I can eat in their home, they can eat in my home too. So very close, intimate friends. So when I met the mother, I asked her, I was talking with your sons about how they were reborn. She said, yes, before they become my sons, one day I dreamed a young, handsome boy came to me and asked for permission to stay in the house. But the mother said, we don't have extra room. All the rooms are occupied with family members. They were very well-to-do, educated family, so they like to have their own separate bedroom. Not like other families. Some families, they did not have rooms. They sleep together on the floor mostly. But this family was a bit westernized, well-to-do, rich family. So she said, a boy came and asked for permission to stay in my house, I told that boy, we don't have extra room, sorry. But another week, the boy came back again. That's in the dream. She dreamed that this boy came back again and asked to let him stay in the house. And the mother said, well, if you can stay in the attic room, you can come and stay. And the boy said, oh, it's wonderful. I like to stay in the attic room, top floor, above everybody else. And then he said, I will bring a friend also. See, this is very important, you see. The friends, they love each other so much. And then when the mother gave birth, it's twin. And many other things too I asked them, because we were the same class. We visit homes many times. Let me see, what else did I ask? One thing is that they told me that they come back to this life because they haven't finished doing what they wanted to do in their past life. And not only that, they say that in that park where we lived, you don't need to work or do anything at all. You don't need to go to school. And you have no family, no mother, no father. You have no responsibility at all. You just stay there and do nothing. And so they said, it's hard to do nothing. So we want to become a human being, learn things, relate with people. They love the relationship with human beings. So love for human beings is also one reason to come back to human life. So it's attachment, craving, desire, strong energy, mental states that takes another life. So in this samsara, the deciding factor is energy. Positive or negative energy. Any consciousness with high energy level will take another life. Very low energy level consciousness cannot take another life, but can give some good or bad result during the life. When you are still alive, it can give result. So keep this in mind. If you can train your mind to become calm and quiet and peaceful, that mental state has a lot of energy. No distraction. It's very clear. You can focus on something, and if you focus on something and stay there for a long time, the energy builds up. The longer you can stay in that state, the stronger the energy becomes. And with that kind of energy, you think about what you want to do, even in this life, or what you want to become next life. So high energy mental states, high energy consciousness can give result. These days people are so distracted all the time. It must be very difficult for them to develop this high energy consciousness. And loving kindness, if you practice loving kindness consistently, whenever you meet a person and you look at the person, spontaneously you feel closeness or kindness. You want that person to be happy. Sometimes even when I walk on the road, on the sidewalk, I meet a person and look at him, and silently I wish that may you be peaceful. May you be peaceful. How many seconds that take? May you be peaceful. Not more than 2 seconds. That's enough. So if you do that consistently, it becomes a habit and it becomes spontaneous. You don't need to deliberately think about doing it. You have done it already. So if you can train yourself like that, you are mostly in this loving kindness state of mind. And this loving kindness state of mind is also very powerful. And we human beings have our own frequency. So this frequency, this mental power envelopes our body. It's like a magnetic field around our body. Depending on how powerful that can be, it can radiate long distance. So when you send metta to somebody with real, genuine wish, focusing your mind on that person, somehow that person feels it, but not consciously knowing who is sending metta. But when you meet that person again, there's spontaneous, reciprocal metta. You will feel very happy when you see that person. So try to do that. Don't tell anybody. Just try to think about it. Just send metta. You'll find that it really has great effect. I don't know whether I should tell it or not. I have so many friends. You can just guess how many friends I have. Wherever I go, to a totally different country, a foreign country like America or Australia or Japan or any country I go, very soon friends come to me. We become friends. Very easy to make friends. So I feel very happy about that. That's the way we should live, with kindness, radiating kindness. Is it difficult to do that? Do you think it is difficult? No. It is so natural for us to be kind. Even young children, if you notice, you see, I love children very much. I study them, really. So sometimes I go to a place where I can just sit and watch children playing. When a child got hurt, another young baby girl, she ran home and brought some medicine and came back and put medicine. Don't cry, don't cry. She became a nurse, but she was just about 3 years old. She's already nursing another child who got hurt. Don't cry, she said. So it is natural for us to be kind. But I don't know why people these days forget about that. They are interested in some other things, entertainments in the telephone. Big distraction. For me, human beings are the most important and the most interesting. For me, life is most important and most interesting. To improve the quality of my mind and to improve the quality of my life, to improve the quality of my relationships with people is the most important thing for me. And learning also is very important for me. I love learning. I started learning even before I went to school. But as I told you, I was so sick that I cannot go to school. I studied at home. I love to do that. Since I started reading books, I grab books and I read. And I like thinking also. That's what my mother and my cousin sisters who were much older than me because my mother was the youngest of 9 children. So her eldest sister was old enough to be her mother. So my cousin sisters were just about the same age as my mother. So they became my sister. My sister became like another mother. So they looked after me and they told me about how I behaved when I was young. They told me that I loved to be independent. When they carried me around, I did not like it. I said, put me down, put me down, put me down. Because when they carried me around, I cannot do what I like. It's like controlling my whole body. So I did not like that. Then I did not cry or I did not complain about anything. Only when I get really, really hurt, I cry. Most of the time, they said, we did not even know where you were because they did not hear me. I made no noise. I would be sitting in a corner and thinking or watching something. So sometimes my mother asked me, what are you thinking about? Why are you so seriously thinking about it? So I love thinking. I love reading. Interested in nature, interested in people. I watch people and sometimes I can read their mind, even when I was young. What if I read your mind?
I'll be so blessed.
Yes, so we are born with our own personality and character and with our own memory from the past life. And that past memory is still influencing our present state of mind. So when I was young, I felt like there was another person older than me inside. Sometimes I feel like somebody is near me who is older. Later, when I studied psychology, I guess that's my past life memory. And also, in some ways, that past life memory was helping me and guiding me also. But as I grow older and older, the two becomes one again. So now I don't feel like two persons most of the time. So think about it. Whatever we have done in our past, it did not disappear. It does not disappear. It is there. Especially high energy mental states, still there. It will give effect when possible. I feel like I was a very old man in my past life. I behaved like an old man even when I was young. Never felt like a young child. Even when my parents did something wrong, I told them, don't do that, that's wrong. So they asked me, are you our father? Maybe, I don't know. So we are born with our own character. And another thing, I love reading books. In our school, in Burmese language class, we were taught life of the Buddha. In Burmese, we call that Zatoji, the big story, the big holy story. In that book, mostly Burmese, but sometimes a Pali verse there. And the teacher said, we will not ask you anything about this Pali verse. Only Burmese you need to learn. They did not teach this Pali verse, but I read the Pali verses and I read the word for word translation and I got very interested in reading it. So I studied that Pali verse, many other Pali verses too. It's a big book. And slowly and slowly, I learned to read Pali language. Nobody taught me. Just starting to read and read and read. And read many Dhamma books. And when I was young, I was very interested in music also. One friend, he became my friend. He was a musical instrument maker. He made violins, mandolins, guitars, harps, banjo, many string instruments only. So whenever I walk past his shop, I will stop there and watch him working. He was about 30 plus at that time. He was a bachelor. He looked mostly very calm and cheerful and peaceful person. And I loved the violin he made so much that I told him, I want to buy a violin, please make one for me. He said, well, you wait. I will find a really good piece of wood. So I waited, and he found a very good piece of wood with grains. So he cut the wood and then put them together, a violin. It looks like an insect and with rings in the wing side. It's a very beautiful violin. I'm still attached to my violin. And I also bought a mandolin from him. I learned to play violin and mandolin, and he taught me to play mandolin. So I went to his home to study, to learn music with him. After a few days, he said one night, it was in the night, he said, let's meditate. I never even heard about meditation at that time. And I said, what shall I do when I meditate? He said, just sit in the normal way that most people sit, just like you are sitting. And keep your body straight up. Breathe in, breathe out. Long, deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep your attention near the nostril and feel the air rushing in and rushing out. If you pay attention, you will know that the air coming out is warmer than the air going in. I said, yeah, I will do that. And I asked him, how long shall I do that? Because if he asked me 1 hour, I will say, oh, I have something else to do, sorry, and go back home. But he said, 10 minutes. So I thought, 10 minutes is not too long, and he's such a brotherly person, and he loves so much that he taught me music without charging me anything, no charge, free thing, free lessons. So he sat on the right side of me, we sat together and meditate. Think about it, you see, meditating together. That makes real good friends. So I did what he told me to do. Deep, long breathing, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. After 10 minutes, my body became hot and I was buzzing with energy. So much energy that my body was buzzing. Then he said, now you can stop breathing hard, breathe normally. When he said that, I stopped breathing hard, and I noticed that I totally stopped breathing at all. Not breathing anymore. Because I have got more than enough oxygen saturated in my body. But not very long, just about a minute, I stopped breathing. Just sitting very still, the mind also was so still because I was focusing on my breath for so long. And I like that very much. This stillness, my mind has become so quiet. So twice a week I went to his home and learned playing mandolin. and sat and practiced meditation. He said, you may sit as long as you want, and when you want to go back home, you can go home. And no need to talk. That's a good way to tell me go back home. Because he was a meditator, regular meditator. It was time for him to meditate. He did not want to tell me go home. So he said, meditate. I can go home anytime I want, and he can sit and meditate as long as he wanted. But I feel so thankful. He was my first meditation teacher. Many times I remember him, and I feel very thankful for teaching me such a simple way to meditate. I did not ask any more questions. He did not tell me anything anymore. A few days later, I liked to sit and meditate so much that I did it in my own home. In my own home also, it was 2-story and an attic. I lived up in the attic because my parents never come up to the attic. The ladder going up was so steep that you have to come down backward. So my parents never come up. So that way I learned to meditate, and until today. So another story, briefly and quickly. I think we have how many minutes left? Only 5 minutes left. I'm sorry, I cannot finish in 5 minutes. Why? Well, another story. Just now I told you that I went to study Pali literature and Pali grammar, translating from Pali to English, from English to Pali. With Sayadaw U, just now I told you. So I stayed in his monastery, the same building. I stayed upstairs, he stayed downstairs. In that monastery, also, somebody told me that that young novice, he remembers his past life. So I watched that young novice. Oh, he looks very gentle and kind, very helpful. At that time, I was suffering from malaria because I spent so many years in the forest. In the forest, I made a small hut tent using old ropes and bamboo sticks. Made a tent and lived there. I had my robes and my bowl. I went to the village to get food and come back and eat. But other than that, I had nothing. No bed, no pillow, no blanket, no mosquito net even. Just a pot for drinking water and going to the spring to get the water and take a shower. Going to the village to get the meal, the food, and ate one meal in 24 hours. Lived a very simple life. Minimalism, I cannot make it more simple anymore. One small towel and one napkin to wipe my bowl, to clean my bowl. So I lived like that, got malaria, went to the hospital. The doctor said, don't go back to the forest. You will get sick again. So I thought, if I cannot go back to the forest, I will go to study with Sayadaw U. So I went to his monastery because of that reason. So I met that young novice. I had fever very often, malaria fever. When I get the fever, the chill is really terrible. So I usually lie down near the place where I get sunshine. Sunshine makes me feel warm. And eating also was sometimes very difficult. I cannot digest regular food, especially fried foods and oily food. This young novice made some soup and rice gruel and porridge for me. So he really took good care of me. So when somebody told me that this young novice remember his past life, I want to know everything about him, but I was also very reluctant to ask him a direct question. So one day I asked him, how old were you when you died in your past life? Just as if casually asking something not really important, not serious, as if I'm not serious. So he said, I was 29 when I died. I said, you were so young to die at 29. Why did you die? What happened to you? Here comes very important point. I was not able to give birth to a child. That's how he died. So he was a woman in his past life. So I must make the story short because Venerable Chaka said I must conclude the talk in 10 minutes. 10 minutes already gone, I think. Sorry. So one day in the summer, all the lessons stopped. Most of the monks and novices, they went back home to their hometown. So this young novice also went back to his home's village, actually. I did not go anywhere because I have nowhere else to go. I did not have a home, actually. So one day he came back. I wanted to ask him many questions. So I asked him, who did you meet in your home village when you went back? What did your mother cook for you? Oh, my mother cooked for me a kind of soup, and she said, you will never get this kind of soup in Mandalay, and then she cried. She cried because her son will not get this kind of food in Mandalay. So he ate what his mother cooked for him. And I asked him, who did you meet? He said, oh, many people, old friends and relatives came. And then he said, that man also came. Who do you think that man was? Her son? Husband. How can I say his husband or her husband? How shall I say that? Then I asked him, do you love that man? He said, yes. How can he say no? He really loved that man. He died, she died so young. And past life children, he said, also came. Do you love your children? He said, yes, I love my children. You see, love never dies. Think about it. We become a man sometimes, and then sometimes we become a woman. So don't be too proud of being a man. Remember that. So be a loving person, do whatever you want to do with kindness and honesty, relate to other people with kindness and openness and honesty. In another thing I asked the twin friends, they told me that in that park they lived, each person can read anybody's mind. You cannot tell a lie. So I think 10 minutes is over. I'm sorry, I can have so many things to say. So the gist of the story is that life is really wonderful in spite of troubles and pain and suffering and losses. Learn from your life. Learn. We are here to learn, not just to make money and enjoy sense pleasure. Make money, and use it very well. Pleasure, a little bit is okay, just like eating chocolate. I eat chocolate, a few pieces a day, about this much. But that's enough. If I eat 1 pound of chocolate, what will happen to me? I will die of indigestion. So life is for learning. From my own experience, I started learning since I was 4 or 5 years old. I learn every day. Now, even now, after I finish talking, I go back to my room. I will learn. I have already planned to do something before I sleep. So life is for learning. Learn and become wiser, become a more intelligent person, become free. So practicing Dhamma is also learning, and if you really practice meditation, you feel more and more freedom, year after year. I feel that way too. Now I'm very close to my crossing over point. Every day is so precious. Every moment so precious. I am learning so much that when I think about it, I think in the past 10 years, I've learned as much as 50 years before that. Because I've accumulated so much knowledge that learning becomes easier and easier for me, and more joyful. So I must stop here. I'm very happy to meet all of you, and I hope to meet all of you again. I send you metta from my heart. May you be healthy, may you be happy, may you live a long life, may you be able to meditate well and feel deep peace and freedom.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Sayadaw, for this interesting talk. Now we have the Q&A. We have 5 questions. The first question: good evening, Sayadaw. Can we choose our parents and where to be reborn? I repeat, can we choose our parents and where to be reborn?
Computer.
Okay. No, I speed it. The first question is, can we choose our parents and where to be reborn?
Yes, we can choose our parents. As I told you in the beginning, this Gandharva here, which I explained, these are sometimes considered a lower form of deity that can play a role in human conception. So, a being ready to take a new existence, or the mental body assumed during the intermediate state, seeking rebirth in the sensuous sphere. So they are waiting to be reborn as a human being, and they choose the mother to be, and wait until that mother is ready to conceive. So they wait for that. That means they choose and they wait. You can find that in some Pali literature. Here is from the Pali monks, the mother and father come together. You know what that means. The mother is in season. That's also, you know what it means. And the being, which is called in Pali, Gandhabba. This is Pali word. The Gandhabba, ready to descend into the mother's womb, is present. That means this Gandhabba is present, waiting, ready to descend into the womb. So that is a choice.
Okay, second questions. Sayadaw, greetings. Our Buddha was reincarnation or rebirth?
Reincarnation of your life? Rebirth. Yeah. Yeah, very good question. In Theravada Buddhism, anatta is a very important truth about life. No permanent self. Therefore, in Theravada Buddhism, we call rebirth, not reincarnation. Reincarnation means a permanent soul going from one life to another, taking new body. But the soul is permanent. But in Theravada Buddhism, nothing is permanent. Everything arises and passes away. So anicca and anatta, these two truths about mind and body are very important. Therefore, we shouldn't actually use the word reincarnation. Sometimes I use the word because in some cases it's easier to use the word reincarnation. The word reincarnation and rebirth, how can we say this person is a rebirth? Something is wrong about it. So anyway, understand that in Buddha Dhamma, there is no atta, permanent entity, no permanent entity. Only consciousness following consciousness. Every consciousness is a new consciousness. Buddha said, Necham Nawawa Sankhara, Deepa Jala Samupama. All the sankharas are new, nothing is old. Just like the flame of a lamp. This flame is always burning and always new. So we should use the word rebirth.
Next questions. Venerable Sir, I humbly seek your guidance. I wish to support my parents during their final moments so that they may have a peaceful passing and a better rebirth. May I kindly ask what I should do to help them from now on?
How to have old parents so that when they die, they will go to better life, so to speak. remind your parents to practice metta meditation first. Because without metta, no matter what other meditation practice you practice, it is not enough. To practice metta is the first thing, it is the foundation of our life. To be a loving and a kind person is one of the most important things about human beings. So remind the parents to think about everybody, family members and friends, with kindness. And if the parents can practice more than that, teach them to focus on breathing, paying close attention to whatever is happening right now without thinking. You don't need any words or concepts to pay attention to what you are feeling right now.
The next questions. When I think about what happens after death, everything feels uncertain and unclear. So, while I'm alive in this life, I just want to live as best as I can. I don't want to think too much about what comes after death anymore. Would this kind of mindset be considered annihilationism, Ucheda Diti? How should I study or reflect on this to gain a clearer understanding?
There are a lot of people I know, and I myself included. As I told you, when I was younger, I did not believe in any religion. But even though I did not believe in any religion, because I understand this rebirth, I treat each person as a brother or a sister or somebody like that. So, to be kind to people is the basic necessity of life. Not only human beings, other beings also. To be kind is the basic necessity. So, even though you don't believe or you are not concerned about a future life, if you are a kind person, that mental state, the kindness will give good result. Because think about it, most of the people in this world are not Buddhists. And I know many other people who are reborn, they were not Buddhists in their past life. They were just regular human beings who never took any religion seriously. So when you do good deeds, honestly, that will give good result, no matter what you believe. If you think you are satisfied with it, that is fine.
The final questions. Sayadaw, have you had chance to meet or talk to spirit?
Spirit, oh, wow, that's a very good question. I told you that when I was young, I went to the cemetery at night because some of my friends told me that if you go to the cemetery on full moon night and wait there until 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock because they think that at about 12 or 1 o'clock, spirits come out. And they told me that I will see spirits if I go there at that time. I went there, not just once, quite a few times. But at that time, in the cemetery, I did not find any spirits. Maybe they were too kind to me. But this is another but, you see. When I was living in the forest monastery, I have many places, one in Pianule, one in Naypyidaw. The place in Naypyidaw is called Mahamyang Toya, and most people know me Mahamyang Toya Sayadaw. That place is a hill, rocky. Nobody can do farming there. Therefore, it was a kind of no man's land. Nobody wanted that place. If they can grow something, somebody will own it and grow. It will become a farmland. But the hill was so rocky that nothing grows well. So I lived there. Before I lived there, they called that place Tai Tu Go. Tai means treasure buried in the ground. It was a big village or maybe a small town before, long time ago. During the communist era in Myanmar, I don't know when it was. It may be 1950s. Yes, I think in 1950s there were communist party in Myanmar and and they had their own army, but they stayed in the forest. Guerrilla. Oh, yes. Yes, something like that. And these communists are very vicious people. They are very cruel, actually. So sometimes they went into the village and arrested people. And they brought these people to that place where I went to live later. And they cut the head off. So many people were killed in that place. And many people told me that this place is haunted. There are spirits, evil spirits there, violent, vicious spirits there. But I lived there and I sent metta to all the spirits also. Every night I sent loving kindness to all the spirits. Sometimes in the night, I see a group of people coming and going. I thought, there is no road there. It's all thick bush. In the morning, I went to check. I found no road there. Sometimes in the night, I take my torchlight and went to find them because I see lights and people coming and going. In Burmese, we call them Chap. Chap means they are like human beings. They live like in a village and they enjoy their life. Even singing and dancing goes on in the night. So I see a group of persons coming and going, but there was no roads. And that's one. A few times I experienced that. Another thing is, I did not see them. I was living in a house. My friend owned the house, and he allowed me to live in the house. So I lived there. One day, it was in the daytime, somebody invited me to come for a meal. So I went to that person's house. Before I went out, I checked all the windows and doors, but one room I had screen doors which I cannot lock from outside. I can lock from inside only. So I left that screen door, but I locked the outside door. And when I came back, I opened the door, and when I pushed the screen door, I cannot push open. I pushed very hard, but cannot. And then later, using a lot of force, I managed to open the door. And when I went inside and checked it, the latch that goes up and turn, you push a latch, go up, and then you have to turn it. It was in that position. It cannot happen accidentally. And I went in and I checked out if it's anything I own or missing. Nothing was missing. And in the night, when I'm asleep, I hear somebody moving about like pots and pans, the noise of cooking. Somebody was cooking there. But I did not have a chance to talk with a spirit. I really want to. I really want to.
Thank you, Sayadaw, for answering all the questions. May I call upon Brother Halim? Brother Halim, are you here? I think he's not here. You do. Okay, I have Brother Sai to... Okay. Brother Halim will offer the token of appreciation from Mangala Vihara to Sayadaw.
Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May I also call upon one of the Burmese devotees to offer, to represent everybody to do an offering to Bante. I think there's a rope and a tray over there. Sadhu, sadhu. Maybe have transfer of merits and sharing of merits and blessings from the Sangha order.
Okay, we have done a lot of meritorious deed by listening to the Dhamma talk, also by making offering to the Sayadaws. We will share all these good deeds to our departed relatives and also all the beings who can be seen, who cannot be seen, by reciting Pali formula, Idame Nyadina Hotu. Idame nyadinan hotu sukita wundu nyadayo. Idame nyadinan hotu sukita wundu nyadayo. Idame nyadinan hotu sukita wundu nyadayo. Sadhu, 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 sadhu.
Before we end, I have a short announcement. The next Dhamma talk will be on 22nd of June. It's also a Monday, 7:45 p.m. Very likely I'll be held in this shrine hall again. The speaker will be Bhante Chanda Vimala, and the topic is the Vata Bhatta Sutta, 7 vows of a loyal person. So I hope can see everybody again. Thank you very much. May we all rise and put your palms together. Please keep quiet